Babu is popular. Can he translate that popularity into votes? Has he started translating that? Sakaja is the only governor when we came, before even the broad-based thing was announced by Raila and Ruto. When Governor Sakaja was sworn in, he formed a broad-based government. So this guy, it's like this guy reads ahead of time. But now as a county government, you find yourself in a situation you cannot run away. Kwa sababu muti uanguka kwa waliomo na wasiokuwemo. So everybody just blames, oh, it is the county government.
Do you think without Raila, Sakaja will survive? Babu anajawabu ama atapata taabu akipatana na Sakaja kwenye debe. That is my conversation today with Chapia Chapia, communication expert and campaign strategist. We had a great conversation about presidential elections last week, a different perspective than I'm used to getting. Today we sink into Nairobi politics. If you want to sit in City Hall, what should you do? Chapia Chapia, great to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe as we're having this conversation. It's always a pleasure to see you. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, and pleasure to see you too. And I'm happy to be back on this great show.
Thank you for coming and gracing us. What factors should anybody consider? Let's not talk about Sakaja or Babu now. We'll get into the details of the dirt or the mud of politics. But what should anyone consider if they're thinking, I want to be in City Hall after 2027?
Thank you very much. It is unfortunate if you want the really politics of Nairobi, according to research, it is tribal politics. But if you see most of the politicians in the media, they talk of policies, they talk of developments. But Nairobi politically, it is the most tribal city in Kenya. From several research that have been done, how the voting patterns are in Nairobi, you find out that in Nairobi, 87% of Nairobians, they don't vote on development. They vote on tribal factors. So one of the factors for any gubernatorial aspirant in Nairobi, you must own. You must own your culture, you must own your people, or in simple terms, you must own your community. Without a community backing you, without the big five community backing you, then you forget about Nairobi. So it is unfortunate. It is something I am not proud of. But that is the reality. From the 2013 voting of the county positions, they were voted on tribal lines. 2017, the same. 2022, they tilted towards the same. And we are hoping in 2027, it is Nairobians to change. But if they will not change, one of the factors to consider while voting in Nairobi, it is the community you belong or the community you come from. So that is one of the factors. All the people seeking for the county positions, that is a gubernatorial position, senator, women rep, those are some of the things they will need to align with.
Even in 2027?
Yes. The chances of getting the tribal voting again in the capital in 2027 is very high. Because from the research that has been conducted in Nairobi, 87% of Nairobians, they don't vote on development. 87% of Nairobians, they vote on community, who is who, where you belong, where you come from. It is unfortunate, but amongst all the cities in Kenya, Nairobi is the most tribal political city in Kenya. So tribal factor is number one to consider in Nairobi.
What other factors are there to consider?
Another factor apart from the tribal factors, now it is the development part, because out of 87% will go on the where you come from. But the 13% of the remaining, they will go now on the development policy or the development programs of what you have done. For example, they will check what did Gidera achieve in 2013. What did Sonko, Kanani achieve when they were in office. Now the current governor is Sakaja. So Nairobians will also check on that development programs and the policy in the county.
How crucial is it to be aligned with a popular presidential candidate?
That is one of the major factors. Before all the governors of Nairobi, one of the factors you must align with the most popular president. In 2013, Kidero, who won as the governor, was aligned to Raila Omolo Odinga. And Raila performed very well in Nairobi. Raila beat the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta in Nairobi in 2013. And that is how Kidero was lucky to be aligned to the sitting president. In 2017, it was Sonko. So we had a sitting, by that time we had Uhuru Kenyatta as the sitting president. So Sonko was aligned to Uhuru Kenyatta and he won. Even Uhuru Kenyatta won. The same things happened to 2022. Mheshimiwa Sakaja was aligned to the current president. So for you to run in Nairobi, you must align yourself with a presidential candidate. If you are a governor aspirant and you don't have a presidential candidate, your chances in Nairobi, as per statistics, it goes down. For example, in this 2027, this is not confirmed, but the United Opposition are talking of having a candidate from DCP, but they are lobbying for presidential candidate from Wiper Democratic Movement. They will have a problem because the culture of Nairobi, the winner of the gubernatorial seat, one of the factors, apart from community or tribal, is who is your presidential candidate.
So that is the balance that was with Sonko, would you say? That it wasn't really about tribe, was it? Or was it about being in Jubilee? What do you think made Sonko? For
Sonko had two factors. First, it was the tribal factor. Remember in if I align the tribal factor, in 2013, we had Kidero, who was coming from Luo Nyanza, and the running mate was Mweke, Jonathan Mweke, who was coming from Machakos. From Machakos. So the combination of the Western Alliance, that is the Luos, that is the Luo community and the Mlembe community, plus now the Kamba community, they managed to win in 2013 because they had a conglomeration of three big communities. In 2017, now things changed a bit because we had Sonko, who was running, and the running mate for Sonko was Polycarp Igathe, who was from Murima. And the same times we had Kidero, who was still running and maintained the same candidate, Mweke. But now in 2017, the reason why Kidero lost, Mweke, as a man from Ukambani, failed to deliver the Kamba vote. So all the Kamba vote went to Sonko. And at the same time, Sonko benefited from the presidential candidate who won, who was retired President Uhuru Kenyatta. And at the same time in 2017, we had Sakaja as a senatorial candidate. So Sakaja also tilted a very big chunk of Mlembe Nation and voted to Sonko. So that is how Sonko managed to survive in 2017. When we came to 2022, the issue of the presidential candidate also determined, because you find out that Sakaja was aligned to President Ruto, the current president, and the other guy who was
Polycarp
Igathe now was aligned to Uhuru, it was aligned to Azimio. So you find out that the Western Alliance, that is the Mlembe Nation, the entire Mlembe Nation voted for Sakaja. And then also we had a protest vote from the Nyanza region, because the Nyanza region who are in ODM, they were not very, very comfortable for voting for Igathe. So they also voted for Sakaja. So Sakaja was a beneficiary of the entire city. And then apart from that, also Sakaja, when he was a senator, he was doing some social programs of defending Nairobi, supporting hustlers. So he also benefited from that records. So, and that is how now in 2022, Igathe lost, because the deputy for Igathe did not deliver the block vote from Ukambani. So in terms of community alignment, in Nairobi, for you to win, you must align.
Where is Sakaja now, and how would you advise him navigating through campaigning in this period where most people are thinking he's not delivering, other people are thinking, Sakaja might even be impeached early. But before we talk about impeachment, where do you think Sakaja is now, and what can he do?
At the moment, if I try to follow now on the score sheet, on the scorecard of how Sakaja has performed, I will have many good stories to tell. One of the stories about Sakaja, what he has done, and it has really touched the hustler, is Dish in a County, a program where our children are given lunch, well-balanced lunch. So today, as we speak, Sakaja is feeding over 400,000 children every day, balanced lunch. So that is one of the achievements, and that is one of the legacy programs that I think Sakaja has performed extremely well. Apart from that, Sakaja has also considered the youth. He is having a program of Green Army. Green Army, at the last employment in City Hall was around 1993. So the population of City Hall was, most of that population was above 40. So they were not able to work. It is only during the time of Sakaja where he has employed 4,000 youth, that is Green Army in the Environment Department, not just as temporary workers, on permanent and pensionable terms. Then apart from that, he has also employed teachers, that is ECD teachers, doctors, and several people. Apart from that, it is only during the time of Sakaja whereby he has built tarmac road over 120 kilometers of tarmac road. So when we are talking about this particular program, I see Sakaja has a development programs. And then when it comes to sports, the same gentleman, Sakaja, we have Dandora Stadium. It is holding our national league. The other day I was in Dandora Stadium. I'm still celebrating my home team, FC Leopard. It displayed Gor Mahia proper. So we are happy for that. So what Sakaja has done in terms of development, on my side, he has scored very high. We have hospitals. He has renovated 28 hospitals in Nairobi. We have Mama Lucy at level 4 now, going to level 5. We have Mutuini Hospital. We have the hospital where our mothers give birth, Pumwani Hospital. Now we have Margaret Kenyatta Hospital in those side of Mukuru Kwanjenga. We have Rachel Ruto Hospital in Mutuine. So all round, I think Sakaja, in terms of development, he has performed very well. He is the only governor who has raised the highest revenue in Nairobi. For the year 2024-2025, Sakaja raised 13.8 billion, the highest ever revenue collection in Nairobi. So in terms of scorecard, I think Sakaja has performed well.
I have issues. Before I started the show, I did some research. Demolition of houses. There's also insecurity. There's also the conversation about, corruption in the city. These are things that people are talking about. Will Kenyans consider these things?
That's a very good question. Demolition of houses, now the Nairobi needs to differentiate. The demolition that was going on last month or around Njogo Road, that is a national government program. That is the program of affordable housing. That is not a county program. But now the Nairobians, they have to differentiate if the demolition is done by the county government or if the demolition is done by the national government. But the national government did demolitions, but they served the people. The residents were served with notices. Since last year, they were served with notices. So the Nairobians need to understand demolition was done by the national government for construction of affordable housing. So it was on a good cause. And the national government followed all the procedures and they served the documents. But now as a county government, you find yourself in a situation you cannot run away. Kwa sababu muti uanguka kwa waliomo na wasiokuwemo. So everybody just blames, it is the county government. County government of Sakaja has not done demolition. What is happening, it's just clearing way for the construction of affordable housing.
How about delay in payments and salaries and per diems? And you're saying, which is indeed true, that they have raised a lot of revenue, but they're not paying.
When it comes to payment of the salaries of county, we have a problem, and it was all counties, because The money that was supposed to be released from the national treasury, it was delayed. You find out that the county, the release of money from the exchequer, that is under the national government, national treasury, it takes time to reach to the kitty of the county for the payment of salaries. So it is not only in Nairobi where most county employees have been having delay in payment of the salaries. It is a national problem. But now the employees of the county government, sometimes they will blame the nearest person. So this issue of salary delay at the county levels, it is not about the governors. It is about the national government. It was discussed in parliament, and the parliament is supposed to set up a law that all counties should be paid at the correct time. And that is why you find out that some of the governors, they went to an extent of now getting loans from banks to pay salaries, so that when the money is released from the national treasury, now you find out that that is the time. The money that is being released, now the banks will take their money. In that process, the interest that the banks are charging on that money, it is so exorbitant and so high.
You're saying Nairobians need to understand that it is not about Sakaja, but even when you talk about Nairobi city, it is very clean actually, when you see what he's doing with street lights, etc. But it's just in the city. It is just in the CBD.
Yes.
Don't you think Kenyans wakiwa nyumbani, Nairobians wakiwa nyumbani would want to see these street lights, this development, this, you talked about tarmacs, you know, in the area? This is a question that we're having. You are just making CBD.
That is what most Nairobians are talking about. But when it comes now to cabbage, there is what the current governor, the administration of Sakaja has done. You find out that in every constituency, he has employed over 300 young men, the Green Army, who are doing the cleaning. But now, apart from that, during the rain season, we have some clogging system. When Nairobi was being planned, in early years, the population for Nairobi was around 1 million. But now, Nairobi has been growing, and the previous governors have not done anything in terms of improving the gabion, the structures, the sewerage system. So at the moment, the plan of Nairobi, we are about 6 million Nairobians during the day, and at night we are about 5 million. So, and Sakaja has been in for only 3.5 years. So he has set up the programs. The cleaning is taking places. He has done very well, but there is room for improvement, because you find out that the CBD is extremely clean. It is all tarmacked. And when you are walking around CBD, you are safe, the lighting and all that. Now the program is cascading now to the sub-county headquarters. So you find that the sub-county headquarters, he has officers who have assigned that particular duty. But we also have problems with Nairobians when it comes to garbage. Nairobians don't manage their waste. They pick their waste and they throw it anywhere on the roads and all over. So I want to appeal to Nairobians. The work of cleaning Nairobi County, it is not the work of only the county officers or the governor. It is the work of all Nairobians. So there is work to be done, and the work has also been done. We need to improve. So this is the area governor needs to concentrate on it.
That is in terms of development and management. How about politically? How would you assess Sakaja's stance now when it comes to campaigning, and you know MCAs actually wanted to impeach him? Where do you believe Sakaja is in the political side of things?
When I'm talking now, when we come to the political side or the political formation, I think the Sakaja is doing very well, because Sakaja is the only governor when we came, before even the broad-based thing was announced by Raila and Ruto. When Governor Sakaja was sworn in, he formed a broad-based government. So this guy, it's like this guy reads ahead of time. Because when Governor Sakaja was sworn in, that is the time he incorporated Azimio. So we find out that in cabinet of Sakaja, we have guys, Azimio CECs, county executive committees. In chief officers, we have Azimio people represented, and this was way below, that is 2023. So in terms of politics, I think Sakaja read ahead of everyone and formed a broad-based government in 2023. So what now the late Raila Amolo Odinga was doing, and what now the current president is doing with the broad-based, they're just following the footsteps of Sakaja. So I think Sakaja read the mood of Kenyans, and because he's a man of the people, he has incorporated everyone from all political divide. Even some of the people that were greatest enemies of Sakaja during political campaign, they are CCs, they are ministers in his government. Some of the people who campaign against him terribly, they are chief officers. So I think politically this is a guy who has balanced the situation very well. And you also mentioned about impeachment.
Yes.
What was happening about impeachment, it was some incitement. Remember, impeachment for Sakaja came immediately when the former deputy president was impeached.
Yes.
So that is how it is connected, because it started with the deputy president. After him, now that spirit, or that there was some beneath games that were being done by the opposition, that is the former deputy president, who had a vendetta against Sakaja for nothing. So
you're saying Sakaja anaharibu biashara za Wakikuyu?
But Sakaja is not spoiling any business. Sakaja is making platform for business.
He wanted to take business people from here in town, Marikiti, and wanted to take them outside. And these are livelihoods of people, and that's what Gachagua was fighting against.
Now that is the main point. Gachagua wanted the businessmen and hawkers to be all over the city. But remember, Nairobi is the capital city, not only of Kenya, of East and Central Africa. Nairobi is the capital. We are the 6th economy in Africa, which is controlled by Nairobi city. So there is bylaws of the city. You cannot have hawkers in the middle of the city. It will be chaotic. You cannot have matatus in the middle, in the CBD. It will be chaotic. So what Sakaja did, he prepared Gikomba, Mudurwa market. He expanded the market for hawkers or other small business people to move to those particular places. And the former deputy president missed the logic. You cannot have hawkers in the CBD. It will no longer be a town. So those was the tussle. But as a governor, you are supposed to keep the CBD clean and order. So what Sakaja was doing was just ensuring that all Nairobians and our visitors, they report in Kenya, they report to JKI, to Nairobi, to find that that is a city in order, of hope and dignity and of opportunities to everyone.
So you are saying, how did he navigate through the MCAs? What do you think he did right?
What happened during the MCA issues? The party leaders, the MCAs from Azimio were summoned by the late Raila Amolo Odinga, and the MCAs from Kenya Kwanza were summoned by the president. And they had a discussion. After that discussion, the MCAs and the governor agreed now to align. There was some few misunderstanding, political propaganda. So the MCAs, they explained their issues, the governor explained their issues, and the party leaders, that is the late Raila Amolo Odinga and the president, they brought the house in order. Because now Azimio was picking up.
Do you think without Raila, Sakaja will survive?
He's still surviving. The Raila died, Raila passed on around 4 months ago, and he's still surviving. So Sakaja is surviving not because he was depending on the late Raila Amolo Odinga, but his track records. But remember, City Hall is a political office. Of course, because of different interests. And the politician will fight because of different interests. So the war will be there. But we know he will survive because he has aligned, he has given the MCS. It is Governor Sakaja who has directly given MCS World Development Fund. For the last 2 sessions of Governor Kidero and Governor Songo and Kananu, there was no World Development Fund. But as we speak today, the Sakaja is the first governor to release the World Development Funds to MCS. Each MCA of Nairobi from 85 wards who has been given ward development funds. So it is also the MC has a responsibility to develop their wards. So in my thinking, Sakaja has been in good books with the people of Nairobi, and he has also been in good books with the MCS, because now he has cascaded development. At City Hall, development is not only at the top. Development is flowing up to the ward level. So wherever the ward you come from, if you are a Nairobian, ask your MCA what he has done with the ward development fund. It is only Sakaja also who has given the scholarship. We have so many children Sakaja is educating. And the Sakaja's scholarship, it is different from bursaries. The scholarship of Sakaja is paying school fees for children from Form 1 up to Form 4. You finish, you get full scholarship. So we have so many students who have benefited from that. The last scholarship he paid was last month, 3 weeks ago. He paid a scholarship of 279 million. And the beneficiaries are over 1 million students since that program started. So what the rest are doing, they are giving bursary of 10,000, 15,000, 5,000. Here you get a full scholarship. So that is some of the things I think Sakaja is touching the lives of the people directly.
Governor Kidero, Gakuya, BABU OWINO, they are coming.
Yes.
Talk to me about these individuals who are planning to vie in Nairobi and why Sakaja should watch out or not. Before we talk about Babu na Jawabu.
Yes.
Zaki.
Thank you very much. When we come to the new entrance into Nairobi politics, the competition is tough and the competition is tight. But for example, if you check on the former governor, Kidero, Mheshimiwa Kidero was the first governor of Nairobi. But he lost when Sonko beat him in 2017.
Yes.
But you now remember the bloc that Kidero was depending on was the Western Alliance.
Yes.
And now Kidero is coming to start afresh without Western Alliance. Because now the Western Alliance is in the armpit of Sakaja. Sakaja has already taken the Western Alliance. So Kidero is coming back. He has some connection in the city. But now the bloc that he was mainly depending on, he does not have that bloc. Number two, Kidero is coming back. Another bloc he was depending on was the Ukambani bloc. That one now he doesn't have that bloc. That bloc will go with Kalonzo wherever Kalonzo will go. So for our former governor Kidero, welcome to the city. But you have a long and a hard way to go, because your main block you are depending on, it is already gone. When I talk now to my friend BABU OWINO, BABU OWINO is a very good guy. He's aggressive. He is liked by Gen Zs. But up to today, we are not sure. He doesn't have the political base.
Oh, come on. He's purportedly going to take over Raila's base. According to polls, he's best suited
to
take over from Raila.
Those polls are not genuine. Those polls in 2022, they always put Raila ahead of William Ruto. But when we counted the votes, we disqualified those polls. Yeah, so what is happening with the BABU OWINO? BABU OWINO is a young man, and we wish him well, but he does not have the base. The first thing, he does not have the political party base, because he is in ODM. Some will say he is in ODM-C, ODM-D, ODM-E, or ODM Rebels. So he does not have a party as we speak today. We know he's in ODM, but which ODM? Is it ODM of Oburu? Is it ODM of Winnie? Is it ODM of Akina Soti and Akina Sifuna? So he does not have the political party. That is number one. Number two, another undoing of BABU OWINO. There's so many things he has done in this town involving what happened to one of the DJs. I can't remember the name of the DJ. That DJ now is on wheelchair permanently. So those are some of the things that they will bring him down. So my advice to BABU OWINO, you go slow. In the city, your base is not, you don't have a strong base. So if I were your advisor, I could advise BABU to stick to Embakasi East.
Come on, we live in Nairobi. We know if BABU runs for governor, he will give Sakaja rough
on which money. Party, on which grounds?
BABU is an institution, he's a party on his own.
No, BABU is depending on Gen Zs. Gen Zs have not registered votes in Nairobi. In Nairobi, it is only the millennials who have registered. As per IBC today, Nairobi, since we started doing the second registration, we have only done around 4% of registration. So you can be flying, demonstrating in the streets, but if you don't have number, you don't have
He's one of the best rated MPs in Nairobi, actually in Kenya.
Yes.
Don't you think Kenyans will consider that?
The body that rated BABU as the best MCA in Kenya, it is not a verified body. You cannot stand on any podium and prove that this body that was rating BABU as the best, on which ground?
I think even, was it?
On which ground?
Think even Infotrack did a poll on this.
Yes, the Infotrack, on which, how did they rate? If it comes to bursaries, how did they rate that bursary? If it is come to development, what has he developed? What was the basic? When you are running a verifiable research, you must have some factors. And several MPs complain. They say that is marketing strategy. So that firm, if they want to run, there's no individual Kenyans or Nairobian who are interviewed for that particular research. So those particular bodies, even me, when I join politics, I can come up with a body to rate me as the best person in the city. So those bodies are not verified.
So do you want to say that BABU is not as popular as we believe? Because if you live in Nairobi or we've talked about politics for long, you understand that BABU is popular.
BABU is popular, but BABU cannot translate the popularity into votes. So that is one thing you need to know. You can't be popular everywhere. You are a populist. That is the character of populist. And most populists, they make a blunder. They don't translate the popularity into votes. The same things happened to Kenneth Matiba when we were trying to start multipartyism in 1992. He was very popular, but he failed to translate the popularity into votes. So BABU is popular. Can he translate that popularity into votes? Has he started translating that? Not possible. So most populist politicians, they fail because they think by being popular, it is counting as numbers. So they need to go a step further to translate those popularity votes to translate the popularity into votes. And that is a tall order to BABU. He will not translate.
You are saying the best thing they should focus on, especially BABU, is registration.
He should consider registration and identify where he is. You want to be a governor of Nairobi. Up to today, we are not sure of your political party. We are not sure of your development records. We are just hearing you are a populist. You are when there's demos, ODM doing demos, you are on the streets. When Gen Zs are demonstrating, you are on the streets. When you go to rallies, you are hitting Oburu Odinga. When you go somewhere else, you are hitting Gladys Wanga. When you go, that is the populism. That is not voting. So he must now go beyond being a populist to compose himself, to come up with a personality of being a governor of Nairobi.
What should Sakaja do? Continue with the same tempo, or do you believe there's something else that can be done for him to win?
For Sakaja to win, there is a lot he has done, but he can also do more to win. One of the things that Sakaja has done is about this dish in a county. He's feeding 400,000 children in public schools. But now he's extending that program. He's extending that program to the locals, to all children in different places beyond public schools. So that is one way he wants to reach all the children in Nairobi. Number two, Sakaja is now upgrading Mama Lucy, Mutuine Hospital, that is Rachel Ruto Hospital, to level 5, going to level 6. So he has done a lot to win the election, but he needs to push on again because he's very aggressive, he's very wise, very diplomatic. He has done a lot, but he still have a room to improve. He's now cleaning town. Now he needs to move out of town to go outside. He needs to do so much, though he has done enough. He can win as we speak today, but for this remaining time, he needs to pull more.
Which party will take Nairobi, or will it be about the personality? That's my final question. If Sakaja stays with UDA, because I believe Kidero will actually be in UDA.
Yes.
How do you think Nairobi will be when it comes to political parties influencing the ground?
The political party influence for Nairobi, it's a hot potato. It is a hot banana. Because now UDA and ODM, they are in broad-based. So now in UDA or ODM or in broad-based government, we'll have Sakaja, we have Kidero, and many other candidates will be coming. Yeah. Even the other day, I saw Mheshimiwa Gakuya saying he's still in UDA. Though most people are thinking he's in DCP. He said himself is still in UDA. Yeah. So the broad-based government, it will be versus the united opposition. So the competition will be tough. But I think Sakaja will have an upper hand in broad-based government during nomination. Because in broad-based government, there is no direct candidate. They will go for nomination. So it will be Sakaja, Kidero, and any other leaders who will come along. But now, comparing with the base, the Western base, the Nairobi base, you know, Sakaja is a Gen Z Charlie Amta. The Gen Zs, na wale watu wake wambwekse, they will vote for him. Akikuja now to the elders, the millennials, ametujenga, amelipa school fees, we will vote for him. Akienda in those other people. So in my thinking, Sakaja will still remain relevant and is above the other guys. Though the competition is neck to neck.
Neck to neck.
Neck to neck.
Mundo ho mundo.
Oh, mundo ho mundo.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation about Nairobi politics. What do you think? Babu is being advised to focus more on people registering to vote for him. Sakaja is being told, continue doing what you're doing, but remember, ni mundo ho mundo. Thanks for tuning into this conversation. Thank you, Chapia, for always making time for us. And have yourself a lovely rest of your day. Remember to subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. Goodbye for now.